Yeah, Kevin's favorite is back. I'm glad I can be right about something. The smoke monster is back.
Not speaking about his name again.
Favorite character?
What did he say, John? He said, we're next.
Jeez. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Kristen, Greg, Kevin, Michael, and I are here for Lost Season 3, Episode 5, The Cost of Living. And unfortunately, we have to talk about the death of another character, and hopefully Kristen will not be as excited about this one as she was the last one one of the last ones we talked about. But we're talking about, unfortunately, the death of Mr. Echo. So, yeah, it's...
We're amazed that Michael doesn't have funeral attire on right now.
Yeah.
I'm too bereft, to even do the bit. I'm genuinely so annoyed about this one. Echo was amazing. I feel like there was so much more potential to him. We'll kind of get into it, but
Agreed.
Yeah, it always just feels kind of incomplete losing Echo here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his season 2 story is getting snatched by a bear, and then sweet as nothing, and then this episode, which is not a bad episode, but that's it. That's his whole season 3 arc. Man,
yeah, it's very odd. Yeah, it's very odd. So
I will just be the odd man out here, and I will only do it very quickly, and I won't touch on it anymore because I know a lot of people do love Echo. You can turn your camera off. Radek, my oldest, so Radek got into this, not as much as Kaysen did, but Radek got into Lost as well. And this is where he said he was done watching. He was so upset that Echo was gone. And so he was so upset with Lost that they did that. And my reply was, it's only Echo. But
damn.
No, in all reality, though, I was never tied to Echo like a lot of other characters were. Was it sad? And I do agree with Michael that, and Kevin a little bit too, that we did have a story arc there that we could have continued on. So, It did seem like a little premature to lose Echo here, but I was not as torn up as a lot of the fandom was because I just was not as connected to Echo as a lot of other people were. But he was a fantastic character, and I think it was a sad, premature kind of event to lose him here.
I just want to see. I'm not going to say whether or not this actually happens. I want to see your reaction if/when Sawyer ever dies, because every other character that dies, you're like, it's only that one. Yeah, who cares?
Michael started it when he said it's only Boone. Okay, so it's only fitting that I continued it.
It was only Boone.
See?
Oh my god, the both of you.
He started it. No,
anyway.
like I said, I do think this was I am not sad, but I was shocked. Like a lot of people, why are we?
Oh, it was shocking. It was shocking in 2006 or whatever year it was. Yeah,
most definitely. Greg,
I would feel of all the characters we lose across this show, if I could save one character, I'd save Mr. Echo, because I feel oftentimes character arcs are wrapped up. This does not feel wrapped up. Do you have, Kristen, when we get to fun facts, do you have the story of how this came to be?
No, I'll let you share that one.
Okay, so basically this was a rush. It felt rushed because it was rushed. Adewale wanted out of the show, so they had to wrap everything up. He didn't like living in Hawaii, and then also he had a family emergency where both of his foster parents, or step parents, I'm not sure which, died within weeks of each other, or days of each other. So he wanted out, and so they had to kind of cram everything into this short span, and we lose Echo as a result of that. So there's a reason it feels incomplete, because it kind of is.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's unfortunate. So they would have done more with his character had that.
Oh, yeah.
You would assume so, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't ever the biggest fan of Mr. Echo up until this episode. This episode finally let something click where I could relate to him, and then he died. So
he has such a great attitude problem. I love an attitude problem. So
You are an attitude problem.
you know.
Well,
So yeah, when he's like, no, like I'm not confessing anything to you. I'm like, yes.
yeah. Well, and the fact that Echo threatened to kill John Locke, that made Kevin really happy, I'm sure.
Yeah. Favorite character of the episode moment right there.
Yes. For all of you Echo fans, we're very sorry for your loss, aka Michael right now in this moment, and Jake a little bit, and my son Reddick. But let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it.
My fun facts that I have, the only number that we see in this episode is the picture of Yemi and Echo that we see, and I had to really like fight my normal Remy on that one just for you, Michael. But where he found that picture was in Isaiah chapter 4 in the Bible. So chapter 4 there. We haven't had a good like light versus dark moment in a while, and we get one in this episode where Locke talks to Echo saying that he saw this monster as a light and beautiful and all these things, and Echo saw this as a very dark thing. So we have that light and dark that we haven't mentioned in quite some time. But this fun fact is a fun one. This is the first episode since Do No Harm where we lose a male main character due to death. Every one of them since Boone has been female until Echo.
Yeah, that is wild. It's like I'm a little shocked that they were just killing off women for a while.
Yeah, knock them off.
I mean, yeah, for undoing the sexism, this might make the top 10.
Yes. But jumping right into the episode, we start off with the flashback, which we're back to, again, the cinematography of Lost. They got that yellow lens back, making it appear that they are in this third world country and all these types of things. Again, we've talked about the cinematography so many times in Lost, but this attention to detail going right back into where they were. But we see Echo and Yemi Echo stealing food for Yemi, but getting caught almost immediately and being told to confess, and which is going to be like the main thing in this episode. But Echo doesn't necessarily want to confess because there's a reason for it. My brother was hungry, so. We'll see this and again later on where where Kevin was talking about earlier, he has reasons why he doesn't necessarily feel like he should confess for those reasons, and we'll get into that. But jumping right into that, getting us onto the island, we have Saeed back. They have made it back to the island, or to our camp here from killing Colleen, and he's wondering like what the heck happened to Echo. Like, what? Remember, all these people were gone at different spots when this all all occurred here. Last he knew is Echo was typing in some numbers into the hatch, and now he's on his deathbed. And so this is where Hurley comes in, and he's like, I mean, we found him like this, and I love Charlie. He has a lie. He's like, what happened to him? He's like, before or after the polar bear? Because we don't know. But with that, Echo is dreaming of Yemi in this moment. He's like, Yemi's having these conversations with him. He also had asked for his brother. And Yemi wakes him up, if you will. Like there's some like a subconscious here. And then the next thing we know that the hut is on fire. And it appears to be started by Yemi, because he's sitting there with this like lighter match, if you will. And so everybody jumps to the rescue to save Echo, pull him out. Of course, he grabs Charlie's leg and says, my brother, my brother. They go to finish putting out the fire, to which Locke shows up and he's like, what happened? We're like, I don't know. Fire just randomly started here. We have no idea. And he's like, well, where's Echo? And he's like, oh, we pulled him out. He's over. Oh. Okay, he's not over there. I don't know where he is because I just left him over here. And that's kind of our opening. So, Jake, walk us through. Obviously, this is an ending that nobody saw coming here. So, what were your thoughts of what was happening with Echo in this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just continuing the story we had from the last Echo episode, or all of his episodes, where it's like he's on this journey to kind of reconcile with the passing of his brother and everything like that. And so I definitely thought it was just gonna keep continuing that. And so when it happened, of course, like Yemi pops out of like the shadows, which again is like, really creepy and like by design, and it's very good. And then like obviously the hut ends up on fire from Yemi's match, and so I'm like, okay, so as real as they appear to the characters, like when they see someone from their life all of a sudden on the island, it actually does affect things because clearly the hut somehow caught fire. So I thought that was really, really interesting.
I'm so glad you picked up on that, because that was one of my talking points, because I think it is interesting. We've so many questions about the dead people of relations of our characters that are walking around the island. We've seen Christian's body is gone. We've seen Yemi's body is going to be gone later on. Like, is it them? Is it something else? But I think a theory most people would probably have is that it's not a physical being. It's some kind of manifestation of them. But we see here evidence that this is something physical. That he has the lighter and the tent goes up. So that's like an interesting bit of information to throw out there about what potentially this is.
Mm-hmm.
I like the because it's an ongoing debate of like right versus wrong, right? Because I mean, yes, he shouldn't be stealing, like that's against the rule, but like someone's hungry, so like it's not wrong to feed them, right? So like I like that they're having this version of this debate at a small scale, like giving his brother a snack, because then we're going to see it at the larger scale at the end of the episode. Like, what is right and what is wrong? Who is the good guy? Who is the bad guy? Maybe Ben's the good guy. Who knows?
He said he was.
Maybe Jack's the bad guy. Maybe Sawyer's the bad guy.
Maybe John Locke is.
John Locke is definitely the bad guy.
The special boy.
He's just a special little boy. He saw bright light.
He did.
It was so pretty.
I like the fact that Echo kind of has a lifelong debate within himself on what is acceptable for his religion that he seems to kind of have been forced into. Like, he's questioning his I don't want to say destiny, but destiny throughout the entire thing, and it sits right, it looks right, everything about it it's great.
And he's had a tough life. Like, can he be blamed for the things that he's had to do to survive? And he's going to talk about that at the end. It is interesting. And like, I didn't want to spoil anything for Jake with my reaction from when we were watching the episode, but I was already emotional at the first scene. I was obviously knowing how this was going to end up. Like when Yemi just like grabs his hand and it's like, yeah, he was protecting his younger brother, and everything he did was to try and protect his younger brother, and he ends up dead anyway. And it's just, it's tragic. I love Echo. I love. I'm so sad.
I also, right before we filmed this, message Michael. I was like, "Are you ready?" He's like, "No."
I am not.
No. I mean, also like to Greg's point though too. Like, I mean, we know that like Echo was the good kid, right? He was the altar boy. He was this like picture perfect. But at the end of the day, he like sees things in a bigger picture, which is again what we're going to get at the end, his final speech there. And I think that kind of leads Echo into this journey and this path that his life leads him on, right? That he's always, maybe he doesn't, it's not just black and white for him. There's a gray area, and he's very like living in that moment. And it's kind of where the title comes in, Living Color, right? That it's like he lives in that moment of that color. So we have a lot more at Echo to talk about, but let's keep going here. The next scene that we see is Jack working out. I mean, he's got to do something to pass the time. He has no more cartoons, so he's just doing some pull-ups.
I would not be wasting energy working out when I'm in that situation.
No, you got to keep your muscles in shape for when you fight your way out. You pull a Sawyer. You start punching your way out.
Well, it didn't work out so well for Sawyer as we saw last episode. With that,
that's because, as we discussed in the last episode, they need to work together. We need Sawyer and Jack together.
We're moving on past that point. I can't turn my camera off anymore in this. But Ben walks in and has a chat with Jack, and he's like, "Hey, let's take a walk." To which Jack promptly calls out and says, "Well, does it hurt?" And he's like, "What?" Like, I kind of half attempted to wait for Jack to be like, "When you fell from heaven," because you're that stupid line. Because that's like the lead up of the cheesy pickup line, right? But Ben is like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, those x-rays, they're yours, and you should be feeling some tingling. You should be feeling all these things." And he's like, "Zero idea what you're talking about." And he's like, "Okay, then I'm ready to go." Like, he's all putting the shirt on. Like, well, he has zero care. He said this last episode. He's like, "Whatever. Sure, you keep your secrets, dude. I'm not an idiot."
You keep your secrets.
With that, they do walk out to the scene. Again, this cinematography again, like this like bright moon down on the ocean. They're all in white, like obviously for Colleen's funeral. Just like kind of very serene and like just it kind of almost makes you emotional anyway, right? Like to see like poor Danny's over there. I'd feel bad for him if he didn't just beat my man to a pulp, but like he's there like crying over his wife, and Ben's over there like, "It's okay, let me say some words." And Juliet walks up and she's like, "I hate funerals." Way to ruin the moment, Juliet, but okay, great. But we see her, you know, kind of have a moment with Jack. She walks away, and Ben comes up and he goes, "Well, you showed him my x-rays," which is now confirming that Jake can now say that he was right about a theory. Good job. I think it was like I'm giving you credit, Jake. Like I'm giving you credit, but it was like a kind of like, who else is it gonna be?
Right. I didn't know who else would be the person that they'd point to.
If a show was gonna pull out some random Joe Schmo that we hadn't met yet for the X-ray, it would be the show that is Lost, because why not?
Yeah. Again, the only other options were Tom and Danny, and I didn't see them doing that with those characters.
But I also love that Juliet throws back in his face. She's like, "I didn't tell him they were yours." But I guess
her response back, she's like, "I didn't tell him they were yours. You did." Like, oh,
right. I love that she kind of claps back at him, and he like even Ben has that like look on his face, like, "Oh shoot, yeah, I guess I kind of did." Like, whoopsie. With that, we get back to our camp with our Losties, with Locke and Desmond and Saeed. They are coming up with this plan. I also love that Saeed has been like so far out of the loop. He's like, "Why is Desmond here? Like, Desmond of all people?" And he's like, "Are you trying to hurt my feelings?" Desmond again does not care. There's so many non-caring people in this current moment that's happening on this island, but to each their own. But they have a plan that they want to communicate with the others to try and get Jack and Kate and Sawyer back. There's other stations, so there's a whole plan that is cooked up here. Hurley and Charlie come back and say, "We've searched for Echo. We have not found Echo. There's no trail." I also love that they call themselves out. They're like, "We don't even know what a trail looks like. You are not the two people that should be looking for anybody that went missing, but okay, at least you guys were out there trying." And with that, he asked them, did Echo say anything to you? And he says, my brother. And Locke's like, "We're good. We're going to the same place. Everybody pack up. Echo's heading where we're heading. It's all good. Let's go." And so that leads us into our next flashback here, where we get Echo arriving back after, obviously, where we had left Echo, where his like the shootout happens, and they mistake him for Yemi, and they bring him back to the church, and where he finds the Bible and the picture of his brother, and is now finding out that Yemi had a bunch of plans. He's going to London, like this new kid's the altar boy, this whole life that obviously Echo has been missing from because of his choices in life. So Jake, walk us through your thoughts here. Obviously you got your confirmation on your theory here, so walk us through that, and then walk us through just like this Echo backstory.
Confirming Ben, like I said, made perfect sense. And then like the funeral, I mean, again, we kind of alluded to it in the last episode recap about like Juliet is already like seeming like she isn't totally in the Ben camp as of the last recap or last episode. And so here we're gonna kind of start to get things to pay off. I mean, Juliet is, talking to Jack about how she hates funerals, and from her perspective, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, this is maybe not the typical funeral. I feel like it definitely feels sort of like a cult mourning, like someone that they lost, because they're all wearing like the white robes, and like, I don't know, like it's very, very odd, I guess. But and then the Echo stuff. I mean, so this is right after Yemi gets shot and the plane takes off, and so he's being dropped right back in place of Yemi, and immediately we're gonna see like the new, like the altar boy and like the mom and like them. I like that they like recognize, like they know who Yemi is, and then Echo's taking his place, and they recognize that this guy, that Echo, is not Yemi. I did find it interesting that they don't know that he's Yemi's brother, though. Like, I mean, I guess why would they? Because I guess Echo's been doing other things and hasn't really been around, so I get that. But yeah, I found that pretty interesting, and we'll get into it more as we go. But
it's interesting to hear you say it's like cult-like, because I was just looking at it as like we've seen like humanizing them, right? Because we've seen our people have funerals, right? They have them on the beach, they bury them usually during the day, right? So this is like they light them on fire and put them on a floating thing and send them out, and they do it at night. And like typically I think of funerals as wearing all black, and like these guys are wearing all white. So like I just thought of it as like yes, that these people, I don't trust them, but like they clearly are still people because they have these traditions and these rituals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I still don't like them. I still think that they're kind of dumb and kind of jerks, and Ben's evil. But like
it
but
probably
like yeah, this is like the 19-year-old holding a giant needle, and like his friend just died, and like they're going to a funeral.
Right.
Yeah, probably like his mentor, because that guy was a little bit older. Or no, Colleen, that guy, Danny, is a little bit older, and it's Colleen who died. So like, that's like probably his mentor, who was like maybe teaching him where to shove the needle, and now she's dead. So they're all at a funeral.
I will interrupt you really quick, Kevin, and I don't mean to. The white is a Hindu funeral tradition, and in a lot of Asian cultures, they wear white at a funeral, and so this was them bringing that kind of like maybe the dharma and things that they would have practiced into.
Okay.
Yeah, there are cultures that do that.
So
and it being like Indian and the Dharma Initiative kind of goes together. They do it in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. They do it.
True.
I didn't want you guys to like.
Well, I guess this comes from distrust of these people, and not.
There's definitely still distrust, but I want.
I think that's where it comes from.
We associate wearing black to a funeral, but there are many cultures that it is not, and like putting on the internet record for all, you better not wear black. You better wear bright colors to my funeral. Anyway. I did not live my life in black, so don't wear it to my funeral. But the other thing then is just the Echo stuff, and like it's just, I don't know. I have always felt bad for Echo. Like he very clearly to me just has a sense of right and wrong that doesn't always fit into other people's senses of right and wrong, and it ends up like he ends up upsetting people, right? Like the people in this village end up getting mad at him and stuff, and like just kind of watching him, like he's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing. It just doesn't always match up. So like he's going back to be this priest in this little town because that's what he thinks he's supposed to do to fill this role that Yemi was in, and it's gonna be a little tough for him to fill that role.
Yeah.
I do find it really funny that we just spent a whole episode of Ben being the master manipulator and outsmarting Sawyer at every turn, And here we get Jack outsmarting Ben and proving that he's a smarter character than Sawyer is, certainly. So
I will let it slide because you're in mourning, but that
and because it's undeniable, yeah.
That's not true.
But I do. This is the first time ever since we met Ben, even going back to Henry Ben, that we've seen him slip, that we've seen him make a mistake, that he's not been completely in control and on top of everything. And Jack has so much fun with it, where like just saying, "Yeah, okay, cool, my mistake then." But he knows it's so good, and seeing Ben squirm, like because he's been so in control, it's great to see him, shocked that Jack's actually got the better of him.
I really just like the Viking funeral. Like that was my favorite scene out of it because I'm tired of seeing people get buried. Not looking forward to Echo's funeral because I'm sure they're gonna bury him too.
Just send him off into the night. This is very like medieval of them too, right? It's not even just like a custom, but it's also like you think of like a Game of Thrones or like some medieval where they're like, I think Tristan and Isolde did it too. And
Thor did it as well.
Yeah, so like it's very medieval of them. Anything else in this section before we move on?
No.
All right. Well, moving on. We see that, Echo has been stumbling through the jungle here. And with that, we are starting to see the black smoke appear. Jake was at first I thought you missed it, Jake. And then like you caught
I saw it and I looked down and it looked like you were looking away. And I was like, he's going to miss it. And then he said it and I was like, he didn't miss it.
Yeah,
I
saw it go across the screen while I was taking a bite of my sandwich. But yes, I did notice it. I was like, oh.
Because that one is very quick to like let us know that it's starting to work up, and then we get obviously the bigger ones. But I too saw you like not looking at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna miss like the lead up, and then he's gonna be so confused. But no, you were like, oh, the smoke monster's back. I was like, oh, thank God he's paying attention. But yes, Smoke Monster is back. But we also not only are we getting the Smoke Monster, but we are starting to see Echo kind of hallucinate. Maybe like he's getting these visions of these bloodied men, and then he goes to like take one out, but then now it's this altar boy kid, and then he's obviously alone. So it's like, what is happening here? Like, are we getting visions like Jack had with his dad? Like, what is happening here with Echo? Also going back to camp, Kevin's favorite person, Locke, decides to invite every single person on this trek across into the
Who wants to come on this fun trip? It's like a camping adventure.
And you know who we get with that? Nikki and Paulo. They definitely seem like the people that we should have. But also,
it's weird to include them. But if I had been being left out of all these missions all along, and I finally get invited, I'm taking the offer.
I mean, I'm gonna bring up something later about Nikki and Paulo, but also
not that I would have been being left out from the beginning because I'm a natural leader and everyone would have been.
I will save my thing for later. But also, we have a moment where Desmond goes to Locke and he's like, "How are you? Like Echo? Are we going to Echo? Are we going to like to the station? Like, what is happening here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's the same place because
a little from column A, a little from column B."
Like the plane accidentally fell on the hatch that we need. And he's like, well, coincidence, fate, all these things. And Locke says, don't mistake coincidence for fate. And we kind of lead them into I'm sure you'll have lots of words, into their trek to go after Echo and to finally reach this because they are trying to, again, communicate with the others too in an attempt to get Jack, Kate, and Sawyer back. Also, I love the fact that this is their brilliant plan. Like, what, you guys are just going to, like, DM them and be like, hey, can we have our people back? And they're like, sure. Yep, you asked nicely. You can have them back. I mean, brilliant plan, Locke. But we go back into our Echo flashbacks here where the altar boy is questioning some of these things that Echo, as much as he was an altar boy, he also led a very, like, crazy life leading up to this, right? And he is using the holy water to wipe his hands. And the altar boy's like, you're not supposed to do that. And he's like, well, do it my
He's
way.
like, I'm washing the sins off. It's fine.
I do love that he was very quick to have an excuse to do that, but it's also like you like
it is very like I
right. He was very quick with the excuse back, but yes, I mean things that Yemi would have known and things like that. That maybe he had forgotten from when he was an altar boy and whatnot. I also love that he's questioning on all this and he's like, I do what I want. That's basically the
whatever I do what I want.
Right, that Echo's giving this kid. But then all of a sudden we start to hear gunfire. He tells the kid to stay back. He's going to go outside and check this out. The militia, of course, is here and they're wondering where their supply is. And Echo's like, what are y'all talking about? Because I'm not down with this. Of course, Altar Boy's mom runs out. She works at the clinic. She says, the vaccine is late. I'm so sorry. I just got off the phone with them. The vaccine is late. And Echo's like, what's happening here? And they inform her to inform Echo. Like they are like Echo is so far beneath them at this point. They don't even care to explain the situation. They want her to do it, which she does. She says, well, we give them most of our vaccine and they graciously let us keep 20%, but they also give us protection, which is an oxymoron because the protection is from them. So, I mean, they're not protecting anybody. They're just not attacking you. That's the protection that we're at. And Echo is very much not down with this. He gives his Echo attitude because he's been running with these types of people for a very long time, and they don't scare him. And he says that. He's like, you don't scare me. And he walks away, to which the guy in the militia shoots some random person in the street. Like, well, you're going to start listening to me. And I do think that maybe all of them are they're going to kind of undervalue each other a little bit because they obviously don't think that Echo is who Echo is, and Echo thinks that they're going to do what he wants because of his position of where he was. So it's going to be definitely an interesting situation. So, Jake, walk us through your thoughts on, obviously, Echo's going through a lot here on the island. We're leading up to, obviously, the very sad ending here. But, walk us through your thoughts here with Echo. And then just getting, again, more of this backstory. Where do you think, do you think that Echo should have fallen back in line with how Yemi was doing things? Do you think that did you like the idea that he was kind of going to do his own thing? What were your thoughts?
I mean, he's his own person. I feel like he kind of has to do some of his own things, but I also respect how other people are going to see it, where they also want what they've already had, which is have someone like Yemi and the way he does things in tradition. So I do understand that and respect that perspective as well. And then, Echo, as soon as I saw the wisp, and I'm like, oh, the smoke monster's back. And then seeing all these people that we've seen from someone's life, so from Echo's life in this case. And my theory now, after this episode, and now kind of trying to think through it, is that this has been the smoke monster all along. That's why we're seeing all these people from everybody's life. So you have, we've had Christian Shepherd, we've had Yemi, we've had Hurley's imaginary friend Dave. We've had a bunch of these people, a couple others, just all of a sudden that have been in these people's lives. So I think it makes sense in my head, but I'm probably wrong on that. So
do you think Kate's horse counts?
Oh yeah, the Kate's horse, I think that could definitely show up. I mean, it's just like whoever is in these people's memories just ends up showing up. I mean, this is what the smoke monster is, and I feel like that kind of gets confirmed. Well, in my head, it gets confirmed to me, or it becomes more likely to me that this is the case because of what happens at the end of the episode. So,
ICCOD. Keep watching.
It's a good theory. We can't tell you whether you're on the right track or not, but we love when you throw your theories out there. It's so exciting.
That's assuming we even get an answer to this theory, because Lost loves to toy with us and all of our questions. Anybody else have anything they want to discuss here?
I just want Kevin to, I'm sure he's just about to acknowledge what a great leader Locke is in this moment. Our group has been people have been left out of our group. Jack just takes his favorites off on adventures. Locke is
There's
running it
48
like
people.
a
You
democracy.
can't take
I'm
48
still
people on an
talking,
adventure at a
Kevin.
time, Michael.
Why not?
This is my one shot. Locke, better leader than Jack, and he invites everyone out. And you know what? The underlings that we haven't had, screen time, they appreciate a good leader like John Locke, and they go on the adventure with him. And everyone seems very happy with him as leader. So I'm sure that's what you were about to say. Sorry, I cut you off.
Wow.
Okay.
Is he frozen or is that? Oh no, I saw his eyes move.
I'm just trying to formulate. I'm sorry. Did you say you think he's a leader? He's just gathering people to be his little watchdogs for him while he goes on a mission. He just wants friends to come with him on the thing that he was already gonna do. Right? This is not a. He wants to go to the hatch. He wants to go to the hatch. This is his idea. He is not, and he's like, oh well, yeah, and I guess Echo will be there too. He sucks. And his little don't mistake coincidence for fate, bro.
Destiny.
Bro. Again, he thinks he is the special boy and everything, despite all of the evidence to the contrary, despite everything that has happened to let him know maybe you're not the special boy, right? He still is oh no, it's not, it's fate. Fate brought us here. Fate brought us to this moment, and the island wants me to be here so that I can figure this out, so I can solve this mystery. And I can't fucking stand it.
We know.
What are we talking? What else happens in this section? What else were we even talking about? We're talking about Echo. Oh, it was weird to me. And maybe this is because we know the episode is a little bit rushed. It is weird to me that Echo is not more aware of what's going on in this village. He was one of these people, right? And yes, he was not doing things as evilly and corruptly, but he was doing these. He should be well versed in what's going on here. I don't know why he was so taken aback. Echo. Remember when you had the braids? Because I remember it was in the flashback, but I remember, and you were doing a lot of these things. And when you were a kid and you lived in this village and this was your church and you were the altar boy at this church, these same things were happening. So why are you so shocked now? I don't understand. And I would think that you would know better how to outsmart these people and not let one of these villagers get shot. He had to know that that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna show their power by killing someone, not you, right? To make you feel bad. You know that. You've already lived through this. So I always thought that was weird. And I get it. The episode, Adewale, Adewale Agnawe Agbahe, I think is how.
Just stick to the first name.
Adewale.
he wanted out. Killer Croc from Suicide Squad. He wanted out.
I forgot.
So I get that they had to kind of make the episode work, but
I feel like he wants us to forget he was Killer Croc in Suicide Squad.
I think most people want us to forget most of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Greg, do you have any thoughts on this section?
Again, just how Echo struggles with his faith, but he still wants people to have theirs. He's not going out of his way to stop people from believing what he's believing in the city. And to Kevin's point, he had come back to the city while he was a bad guy, and he was running things. So these are new people that come in. He didn't believe that they were going to do anything worse than what he did because it was supposed to still be under his protection, but the whole priest thing fell apart with the plane and he got stuck there. So I feel like he's just waiting on one of his people to show up and be like, yo, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, definitely. I too was a little shocked that he felt that he would, like, there wouldn't be other bad people. Like, he was like, oh, they all just, like, got in a plane and took off and that's the end of them. Like, that's the end of the bad guys. But that one made me a little shocked as well. Are we ready to move on?
Yes, I have to go help with Echo's funeral.
Love that. Thanks for the planning, Greg.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Look,
Bye. So this next section starts with let's just like put Echo into the forefront of being the badass that he is. Literally is rubbing dirt in the wound. Like, this is the epitome when, as a parent, you're like, go rub some dirt in it. Echo did this. Like, Echo did this, and he's like, I gotta stop the bleeding, so I guess we're gonna do dirt today. But the smoke monster then appears to him again. I'm getting kind of bigger at this point, and then all of a sudden, Locke and everybody else shows up, and they're like, "Hey," and he's like, "What's up?" Like, what are you doing here? It's kind of an awkward moment because like Echo's confused. They're like, Locke obviously is like, "What's going on with you, buddy?" Because you were just like passed out like on your deathbed 5 seconds ago. But like, what's going on? And then we go back over to this Ben situation here, where Juliet comes in with this grand feast. Right? She's stepping up her game. All right, we don't have any like crappy meals anymore. We've got a silver platter over top of it, and it's now a burger. And he's like, "You guys got burgers?" And she jokes around, "Yeah, I had to kill a cow and I did all these things for you." And they're having a good old like happy like go lucky time. And then Ben just storms in and makes it awkward as hell. All hell has broken loose, and he's like, "So I need to talk to him." And she's like, "Okay, talk to him." And he's like, "No, I said I needed him alone." And he's like, "She can stay." And it's just like, again, everybody's undermining Ben at this point. He's just like, "Okay, you already called me out, and I need you to be the doctor, so she needs to leave. Let's go, chop, chop." And he starts to tell Jack that they had a plan to break him. They had this brilliant beyond brilliant plan. He mentions that they were using Juliet because she resembled his ex-wife at some point. He was going to get totally invested in these people and everything they were doing. And he said, he's like, "You want me to save you?" And he's like, "No, I want you to want to save me." Like, that was the plan. I love that line. But also the main line in here, and I know Michael's going to talk on about this too, but this line is probably one of my favorite lines of Lost, minus all of course, the Sassy Sawyer moments. But him saying, 2 days after I found out that I had a spinal tumor, a spinal surgeon fell from the sky. So, like, if that doesn't tell you that God is out there, like, I don't know what else will. And one of the things that I will bring up, and I'll let Michael really go in on this, because I know with Ben and in this kind of situation, this is something that, you know, is kind of more Michael's forte, and I know you have some great insight on that. But there are moments too that, like, whatever you believe out there, whether you do believe in God or a higher power or whatever it may be, there are signs like this that you get to see that not everybody gets to see, which is what makes faith really hard. But when you do get to see moments like this, it kind of really puts everything really into perspective, right? Where you're just like, how crazy is that like, I'm on an island and I'm got this tumor that only a spinal surgeon, and like, of course there's a spinal surgeon on this plane crash. It's just is kind of a really awesome moment there. Locke also mentions Yummy's name, which is, I'm sure, where Kevin will have his moment here. And Echo went batshit crazy and said, "Don't you ever mention my brother's name." So I know that Kevin wants to get into that. I know Michael wants to talk about the Ben thing. Before we do that, we'll get into our next flashback here, where Echo is asking about an arrangement. He has some vaccine to sell now. He is going right back into his Echo ways. And he's like, "It's got to be done because I'm leaving because I'm going to London." And the lady from the clinic is like, "Dude, don't cross these men. Like, you have no plan here. This is not what we are doing." And Echo's like, "It's okay. I got this. I've got this." So, Jake, first of all, walk us through your first thoughts on Ben's brilliant beyond brilliant plan that never worked out. Kind of all the other situation, the Locke and Echo meeting at the same place, and anything with this Echo's brilliant plan in his flashback here. Walk us through that before these two go to town.
Yeah, so the Ben line, about like, you know, there being if there's God, then, you know, a spinal surgeon just dropped out of the sky. Like, there's definitely signs that are out there. It's kind of like, as someone who kind of struggles with faith a little bit, of like, I was raised Catholic, but I don't know that growing up and going through kind of the education I went through, it kind of separated my faith a little bit, and so it's kind of something I struggle with believing. But like, I also feel like, I mean, I've heard this line of everything happens for a reason, and in a way, I kind of believe in that to a degree. But I mean, it is interesting. Again, this show kind of challenges that with like destiny, because they were destined to crash on this island. You know, people have stayed alive for reasons. I mean, clearly, they wanted Jack to save, as we said, they wanted Jack to be here to save Ben, and it just so happened that Jack has stayed alive this entire time, or other than being the main character. But like,
I don't mean anything.
They have boats, they have submarines. You didn't have to crash his plane if you wanted a spinal surgeon that badly.
That's true. So I don't know. It's very fascinating there. And then the Echo moment, I knew Kevin would get a kick out of Locke getting pinned against a tree with a knife against his throat. So, I mean, again, Locke just manages to say really stupid things half the time, and that gets him in trouble.
He just can't help himself.
And again, that
time he was just like trying to have a moment with Echo. I think Echo is like, I'll go with Michael on this one.
but like, you finish, Jake.
I was just going to finish.
We're going to let you on your rant.
With the leadership real quick, Nikki and Paulo, I think, are just happy to like join something and go do something. I don't think I don't know that they're like specifically just following Locke's leadership. I think they are just excited to be there. So that's my thoughts. Now, Michael and Kevin, you two can go at it.
We'll just sit back. We'll be here when you guys are done.
So the thing is that John Locke, Echo was just in a bear cave, had a fever for days, is delirious, and ran off into the woods. Like, maybe be a little more cautious and be a little more thoughtful with your words. And like, should you expect to get held up to a tree with a knife to your throat? Probably not that extreme. But like, in general, like, he's just so on his mission of just like, I need to get to the hatch, because like, he's not even paying attention to what he's doing. Like, what you be more aware of, like, oh yeah, like maybe I should be a little more gentle with this person. Maybe I should be a little more thoughtful with this person. And instead, he's just on his everyone should do what I say because I know everything, because I'm the special island boy. And what I like, just do what I say, right? So of course he doesn't think about it, and then he gets jacked up against a tree with a knife, and I think it's great. Good reminder. You should be more thoughtful, Mr. Locke. And I'm just gonna make Echo my favorite character of the episode now, because nothing's gonna top that.
To be fair.
I love watching you go on a rant and then watching Michael's face as you rant, because Michael's like, I'm going to be commenting on that. I'm going to comment on that. And like, you see Michael taking mental note of everything he's about to come at you for, and it's great.
I for the most part, like, Kevin and I, butt heads and disagree on things, but I always kind of see Kevin's point, and I'm sure he kind of always sees my point to a certain extent. This one, I'm baffled. Like, Locke does not do anything wrong here. He just doesn't. He's been nice to him. He's like, he has no reason to believe that he can't mention his brother's name. And he's had it, like, he just saved Echo's life. And he's just saying, like, you were talking about your brother. Is that why you're going to the plane? But yeah, like, I don't think Locke was remotely trying to, be insensitive or anything like that. I think it just Echo was up a height and he was caught in a bad moment, and Locke did nothing wrong in that specific situation.
I don't think Locke did something like horrible, but I think if Locke was being more like thoughtful and aware of the situation, probably could have avoided almost having his head chopped off. Just like maybe focus more on the people and a little less on your mission that you're on. Like,
doesn't Locke also like know that Echo has a brother because he's like supposedly seen that Echo has a brother from like the visions and whatnot. So yeah.
I don't think Locke was asking in that moment like that. I think I'm with Michael here. I think that he was generally like, you Charlie said you mentioned your brother. Is that why you're heading to the place? Is that why you're out here? Like, I think he was just genuinely trying to understand. Like, Echo, you like were on your deathbed 5 seconds ago. Like, why are you out here? And so for him to literally only just say it's not like he was like, I think Yemi would want you. Now that would be like where the insensitive.
Yeah, that's true.
But for him to just be like, is that why you're heading out here? For him to like literally go crazy, it's like, Echo, take a chill pill.
And he spoke to him about Yemi before. They've had a conversation about Yemi. It's not like there was any warning that he couldn't say it.
Kevin just being a hater. All right, Michael, go on.
I'm just glad someone jacked him. Maybe this time he'll learn to take a chill pill and think about other people before he opens his big dumb mouth. He won't, but maybe.
All right, Michael, you're up.
Just briefly on the Ben thing, we can get back, carry on. But I think what's interesting about this as well is the insight of Ben's plan, because we never really get answers of why Ben arrived at the hatch. But this is the biggest context that we could get. That the initial plan was go to their camp, go to the hatch, become a part of their group, befriend Jack, and Jack can perform the surgery there. They can maybe discover a hatch and they can sort it out, and they never know that another. Obviously, that plan falls apart, and now they have this secondary backup plan to try and get the surgery done. So I do think it's interesting how Ben's plans have just slowly been falling apart, and I will say though, for as smart as Ben is, maybe if you want the spinal surgeon to do surgery on your back, maybe don't harass, murder, and torture, attack the people that you want help from for 60 days or however long they've been there. They sent a lunatic into Camp in Ethan. Like, they could have just went and said hello, introduced themselves, like, hey, we're the island natives, how you doing?
Communication.
Right, similar to what I was just saying.
Yeah.
There was a part of me then, and there's still a part of me now that also wonders, like, is this, like, yes, the plan falls apart, but, like, is this the new manipulation of, like, okay, I'm going to come clean that I was trying to manipulate? Like, is that in and of itself a further, like, well, you can trust me now because you know my plan has fallen through, and, like, you should never trust him.
Yeah.
You should never trust him.
Most definitely. Well, moving along here, we see that they have now arrived at the plane. Locke's like, you guys can head down without me. I'm going to chat with Echo because that worked so well for you the last time here about 5 seconds ago. But he wants to have a chat with him. And Yemi is Echo is after Yemi in this plane. He feels that he is getting these visions of Yemi that he needs to go and have this, like, just be there, talk with Yemi, whether it's Yemi or, body Yemi here. But they find out that Yemi is no longer in the plane. Locke tries to say, like, we did set it on fire, so, like, maybe, like, that's why he's not here.
We set it on fire and there's animals here, so, like,
right.
This is a dead body, a cooked dead body. Like,
Echo is, like, not having any of it, though. And then Locke's like, oh, by the way, here's your cross necklace that was Yemi's, like, being sweet, but also, like, let's. I think that this was a moment that Locke maybe should have done that, like, when he had the knife to his throat. Like, I just was mentioning because I have your necklace. Don't
Yeah,
chop my
maybe he
head
would
off.
have if he got the chance. Like maybe the
Well,
sentence after he said
that'd be
about
where
yeah,
I'd
he
be
would
pulling it
have
out.
eaten
Like, don't chop my head off. I have the necklace. Like, you know.
Like,
But
whoa,
no,
whoa, we're friends. We're friends. And to prove we're friends,
Here, look,
here's
I
your
have
necklace that I found.
put the knife
Here
down,
you
babe.
go. Now take the knife away from my neck, please.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think like that he did say that. Like he knew that was important to Echo, and he did save that so that he could give that to him. Going into the flashback here, we have the militia. The militiamen have now come back to confront Echo because they got wind of his plan to take their vaccine, and now they are pissed. So what's going to happen here is they're going to basically cut off Echo's hands. We'll let you live, but we're taking your hands. Echo is not about this. This is where I think they were very wrong in thinking that they could take on Echo. And Echo, basically, we now see the bloody men in the jungle are these bloody
The people in the vision from earlier are these people
Correct.
now in
and
the
so
same outfits.
Yeah, they get into a fight of all fights that ends in a lot of bloodshed. Also, Echo, like, walking out with a gun and a bloody machete and like blood-stained clothes, probably not the best idea, but okay, like choices.
I understand you're traumatized right now, Echo. I understand you're covered in the blood of people you just killed. It's really tough. But like maybe you go out the back door.
Right. With that, I'm going into this next section here. And I have to go into this next section because this is where I'm going to have a really good field day with Kevin, and mostly with Michael. But Nikki is now watching orientation, and she mentions that there are 6 stations and there's several projects, and this is why all these monitors are here. And Locke gets shown up by Nikki, of all people. The blonde bombshell outsmarts Mr. The Island Speaks to Me, which I thought was hilarious. But also we get a great moment of Paulo. He had to make sure the toilet was working still. Like, these people are the people that you want to take on the missions.
Yeah. The tried and true method of the toilet gag. Yeah.
These are the people that, like, Jack, what were you thinking not bringing them along sooner? Because they are obviously very valued assets here.
I think Nikki did add something to
She
that.
She did.
Yeah.
I'm throwing
Paulo,
that.
not so much.
Paulo, definitely not so much. But they decide that they're going to attempt to look into these other monitors, if you will, because they obviously can't communicate. Saeed is down there and doing his Saeed things with all the wires and everything. And he finally gets a signal, and it's kind of grainy, but we see a little bit of something. And then we see a one-eyed patch. Who is this person? Nikki is obviously terrified because she's never seen anybody look so ugly in their life that she is not even able to comprehend this. And I do love that Locke is like, I guess he'll be expecting us. He's like so unbothered by this. Nikki's about to have a heart attack. But the main part in this section is where I wanted to like end us here. Is Juliet comes in to talk to Jack about doing surgery on Ben. And she is going to put it in a movie. Jack, of course, does not want a movie. She's like, oh, but it's To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a great movie. It is. It's a very great movie. But he wants nothing to do with that. And she's like, okay, all right, I'll still put it on for you, but I'll turn the sound down. Let's have a chat. While she's having this chat of Ben is this amazing person, you should totally save him, like all these great things. On the video, her very special video that turns out not to be To Kill a Mockingbird, it is a Juliet featured film with her.
It is Juliet's Love Actually.
Yes.
I was going to make that joke.
With all of her cue cards saying, don't listen to the thing I'm saying, Ben is a liar, not to be trusted. Like, it could look like an accident. No one would think otherwise. You should definitely do this. And she kind of leaves. I love how Jack, he was so like, I don't think, you just said you didn't want to watch a movie. You're very intently watching this movie. So, I mean, obviously, I think that they got this played off because I think if Ben would have caught on, he would have come in the room without a problem. But like, let's make it less obvious, Jack, that you're watching this movie that you didn't want to watch. But yeah, I mean, I want to leave it here. Jake, that was the huge big reveal. Obviously, we're getting a little bit of Echo stuff here. And then, you know, of course, Nikki getting one over on Locke. But walk us through the because I want to know where your head is because when I'm watching this for the first time, I'm like, so walk us through your thoughts here.
Yeah, to finally see that Juliet is officially trying to get out of being, manipulated by Ben and like out of working with him. Like I found that crazy and yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to have a rebellion maybe by the end of the season against Ben. I can see but I mean, the fact that there's 3 more seasons, I mean, I have the insight.
What happens if there's a rebellion and they pull out their lightsabers and Jack and Sawyer and John Locke have the red lightsabers? Then what?
Oh, well, John Locke might have a red
I don't even know what that
means. I think Jack and Sawyer would be Jedi, but
is that what red means?
No,
red is a Sith. It's the bad guys.
Okay, thank you. If you would have left it at Sith, I would have been like, okay.
Glad we can educate you, Kristen, on Star Wars.
Education I never cared to know, but I'll get it this is over.
But yeah, then the reveal in the Pearl of like, okay, there's this guy with an eye patch and in another hatch that that was creepy and not something I expected. And I'm not sure who that is, what that means. So will that be something that we get answers to or I get answers to? Who knows? Again, I just want to say
if the toilet was still working.
Yeah, I'm annoyed by Paulo. I mean, the fact that we get these 2 characters that nobody knew who they were and how they got here, and then all of a sudden, like
they've been there the whole time. They just were not as big a character. They're annoyed that they're always left out.
I guess, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't need one to all of a sudden turn into we have good comic relief characters, and then we have Paulo here who is just comic relief just to be like, oh look, I flushed the toilet, had to make sure it was working, ha ha ha. Just doesn't really, that comedy just doesn't really work for me. As far as Nikki, at least she has a purpose, it seems, and she's also cute, so that works.
It only just clicked in my head, actually, what you mentioned, Love Actually. Paulo was actually in Love Actually. So that's another little connection there. He's, the office worker that the one girl has a crush on. The whole guy with the eye patch thing, I can tell you the big fan theory that this spread out, and I was obsessed with on the message boards. So we found in an earlier episode the glass eye in one of the boxes that was in another Echo episode, I think that was. So I remember it being huge, like, oh, he's got an eye patch, it's his glass eye, and it's going to be connected to that. So that was a big fan theory at the time. And yeah, Juliet hates funerals, but here she is planning Ben's.
Yes.
Well, she's not planning his funeral, she's planning the murder.
Yeah,
it's very so it's very good cop, bad cop, right? Like Ben is the bad cop, Juliet is the good cop. But this is very not good cop behavior. So this is very what? You want me to do what? You want me to pull a Ana Lucia? Bad cop this? So I don't know. I like Ben as a character, but I don't like Ben as a person who imagines themselves as having survived the plane crash. So I want to believe Juliet, but you're supposed to be the nice innocent one, and this isn't very nice innocent behavior.
I know when I was watching these were the thoughts that when I instantly this episode ends, I'm calling my friend and we're we have to unpack this. What is going on? Because for a couple episodes now, we've kind of been led is there some tension between Juliet and Ben? Are they working together? Is he the boss? Is she the servant? Where is this going? Is she trying to be nice to Jack, or is this manipulation? All these things. And I know that my friend Michelle and I sat on a call forever, it felt because we were okay, is this Juliet trying to break free of this? We've kind of been led to believe. Or is this Juliet setting up Jack? And I remember us being like, oh, I don't know. Like, because it's almost like they fed us too much to make us think that she was good. So then we went and we're like, we got to think it's the opposite because this is what Lost does to us. Like,
Right.
why do we think
Right.
good? So
I had a third one as well on top of that. On top of that thing, there was a third theory that I had of, is this also Juliet also bad, trying to seize power for herself? Like, does she want Ben out of the picture?
Yes.
He wants to be the leader of the others.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those that we were like, it's
Because she
almost
did
like
kick him out of the book club.
she
Is
did.
she trying to
she
kick him
did.
out of the life club? Like,
Yeah, the life club. No, but it was definitely one of those where we were like, they kind of threw nice Juliet at us, and this isn't feeling great right now.
right. So I have that lingering doubt in my head, but like, I really want it to be true. I want
Right.
this to be like, yeah, this is your chance to get rid of Ben, who's clearly evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I think
Do
it's
it,
still
Jack.
like all of us that when we see this, when she's like, ignore everything we're saying, we're like, oh, what is happening? Like,
Right.
you're at the screen, like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Right.
And then like it's like good feelings gone, abort mission. I don't like this, Jack. So it's definitely one of those things that, again, we've talked about this before, that Lost does a really good job of like, where is this actually gonna go, and leaving us with tons of questions. So anything else before we wrap this up?
Just really quickly, I do think the writing on John Locke throughout this episode is weird, not just because I don't like him, because like forcing him to be like, anyone can come on this mission so that like Nikki and Paulo can volunteer, and then like him obviously missing that there are multiple projects that Nikki can be the one. Like, I think the writing on him is a little weird to like push these two in. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's weird. Like,
There's no way Locke and Saeed wouldn't have even thought to check the other TVs. Like, they're not idiots,
Right.
you know, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that as well. Well, leading us up into this very sad moment for Michael here, and everybody else that is a massive Echo fan. We do get our final flashback of Echo, where the altar boy is, he is just, are you a bad man or are you a good man? Because I'm trying to figure this out, because you kind of took care of these bad guys, but like my mom's telling me that you're a bad
for God
man.
to decide.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely a moment where you're like, I don't even know myself, so I can't answer this question for you. Because we have seen Echo, like, he has made these decisions and he's had reasons for these decisions. With that, he goes to leave. He's like, see, you got your vaccine. She's like, oh, shut up. I knew about your plan. You're an idiot. Leave this alone. Like, goodbye. But as that happens, they start to board up Yemi's church. And he's like, what are you doing? This is his church. She's like, it is not sacred anymore. Look at what you've done in there. Like, Yemi would hate this. Look at what you've done to our town. And so she says to him, like, you're going to have to, like, pay back all those lives that you've took. You also, not only that, you owe Yemi a church, which kind of brings us back to why he was building the church on the island, which is like, oh my God, we got an answer to a question. Thank you, Lost. And then they are going to take us all of our joy out of all of it, because we are back quickly on the island where Yemi appears to Echo. And Yemi kind of walks off and comes into this field. It's again, cinematography. That scene, that backdrop, oh my God, stunning. But he says, are you ready to confess? And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to confess. Let's do this. Let's go talk. And he goes, so my confession is that I don't have a confession. I'm not confessing to any of this. I did it for this reason. I've done this for this reason. I've did this for this reason. All for you, all to protect people, all to do all the things. And I'm not confessing for anything. And then we get a line where I'm pretty confident this is where Jake's trying to maybe have a new theory in his mind, hoping that he's going to be correct on, where Yemi, or maybe not Yemi, says, you speak to me like I'm your brother. And Echo's like, wait, what? Wait, hold on a minute here. To which Yemi, or maybe not Yemi, walks away, and Echo follows him to then the smoke monster appearing as big as we have seen it, and it's full on wrath, and it starts to take out Echo slamming him into tree after tree after tree. Of course, the sounds of this smoke monster get alert Locke.
The train sound. Yes.
Yeah, right. That alerts Locke and all of them to come out. But of course, by the time they come out and get to where Echo is at, this smoke monster has picked up Echo all the way to the skies and slammed him into the ground. Locke does arrive to turn Echo over, and Echo, as he is dying, gets visions of his brother, which is just heartbreaking, just extremely heartbreaking that this is how it's ending. But then as the heartbreak continues, we get a question. Thank you, Lost Writers, for all of this, that he whispers something into Locke's ear and dies. And Saeed says, what did he say? And he goes, he said, we're next. What? That's how you're ending this episode on me, Lost? What are you doing right now? So, Jake, walk us through. Obviously, it's a very sad thing that we have lost Echo. But walk me through your thoughts on that as you're watching that. But then, what do you think that this means, the "you're next" part?
Yeah. So I mean, Echo's death is just sad now, knowing like the backstory of it. It makes it even more sad because it feels like they definitely were planning on more to do with this character, at least for another season. And then they just unfortunately had to drop it. But yeah, I think the "you're next" part, I think the smoke monster, I guess, has a mind of its own in terms of like who has sinned and who has like, I guess, done something wrong from its belief. And, if you've done something wrong, then it's going to punish you. It's basically like the God punishing the sinners. And so I guess it's, in a way, that's what it's doing. And I guess because Echo is not willing to, submit to what it wanted, then it was going to kill him at that point. And so that's kind of the theory there. I did want to point out the detail of Yemi when they go in the field and his robes are all burnt. Like, I did notice that, of like how, because when Echo lit the plane on fire. And so I thought that was a really cool detail to note, for me to pick up on and notice that they did. And yeah, it's just really unfortunate to lose Echo in this way.
I think that's really like an astute observation as well, Jay, of like the smoke monster has had several opportunities to kill Echo, maybe more so than any other character. Echo has had interactions with the smoke monster, so why now? So I do think that's an interesting avenue to kind of look down on. I'll get into the sadness of Echo's death. I'll deal with that at the end. But for the "where next," I think that's a very interesting line, because he could not have said "where next." He must have said "you're next," because "where next" makes no sense. Locke is interpreting that as "we're next," as in the collective, we are next.
Yeah.
It could very well have been Echo saying to John, "You are next."
Yeah.
Not collectively. So I think it's interesting that Locke has read it that way and not a direct threat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no one would be threatening Sweet John Locke. He's the
monster
special
likes him.
boy.
He's the chosen one.
I mean, they might all be in danger, but like no one would dare just come after the special island boy. That's ridiculous.
The special island boy that got his everything handed to him by blonde bombshell Nikki.
I did think it was so these two are on a mission for the first time. They're like, no, we want to be included too. And someone dies, and you see that they are like you see the difference of like Locke and Saeed, who are just like, oh, this sucks, versus the two of them who are like crying because they don't really know Echo. They're not like super attached to him, but like this is very upsetting to see someone die. You see Saeed and Locke who are like, oh, another one? That sucks.
Been there, done
What was
that.
that? Tell us your last words. Okay, let me Saeed, write this down. Right? Like it's much more like we've done this a few times now, and the others are like, this is their first time and they're distraught by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been having funerals like regularly. It's not good. On Echo's death, I had tears in my eyes once again watching it. But the confession or lack of confession to Yemi is so beautiful, and the line where he says, I did not ask for the life that I was given, but it was given nonetheless. And with it, I did my best. And that is just, if you're going to go out, he went out on a powerful moment. Like, I love that line, that speech. It's so good.
I agree.
I will write that down so that if I'm in Handmaid's Tale, I can use that line before I go.
Perfect. No, I mean, again, like, this is a very sad thing. I wish it didn't feel as rushed, because I do think that it's kind of, and listen, I'm bringing this up, and don't like get crazy on me yet, because I feel like I'm going somewhere. This is almost like the Shannon thing, where it was like we were just starting to get like a story, and then it's like gone. And not that I wanted to see more Shannon, but it was like that we needed to see it, because it was like leading up to that. And so this is kind of the same thing with Echo, and it just kind of it's a bummer. I mean, Shannon wasn't, but Echo's a bummer. And I think that there could have been a lot more with Echo, even though he wasn't my favorite character and I wasn't like completely upset about it. It was a sad moment nonetheless.
And even within the episode, it doesn't feel like this episode is going to end with a death. You know, like the Boone one, you obviously telegraphed that. And the Shannon one, like you said, that was also a shocking ending, but like historic, I don't know. But this one, it didn't feel like it was a goodbye episode to Echo. It felt like a regular Mr. Echo episode with this last 5
It was like
minutes where
defiant and triumphant. It was like, like
it was like a let go, like, and move on episode versus let go and promptly get killed.
Die.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and what the characters who have died, it's been typically, you know, aside from Libby not being, we got like very little backstory from Libby, but like Ana Lucia died in an episode about her, Shannon died in an episode about her, Echo died in an episode about him. Was Boone's episode with his backstory, or was it John Locke?
Jack.
Oh, it was Jack. Okay, yeah. Yep. Do not hurt. Yes, sorry. So everybody but Boone and Libby basically so far has said the episode be about them.
Don't have an episode about you.
Yeah, clearly not.
Lucky Sawyer made it through the last one, so.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, well, favorite, least favorite, and rankings to wrap it up.
Yeah, so... Yeah, favorite character, I'm gonna have to go with Echo. Just I'm an Echo fan. It's the last time I'm going to be able to do this, and Echo, you were a good character, and I'm sad to see you go. And complex as well. Like, it wasn't just okay. Like, you're getting a lot of layers to who Echo is, and he makes choices, and you can argue like maybe you shouldn't have done it this way, but also. I support the decisions he made were in service of like what he believed was right. So then least favorite, I'm tempted to say Paulo just because toilet gags are not funny. You know what? I'll just say Paulo. It was a poor use of comic relief, and we've had much better comic relief characters like Hurley and Charlie, who actually also have layers to them, but are still funny whenever they say something that is meant to be funny. So,
yeah. I already said my favorite is Echo, not only because he beats up my least favorite character in the show as a whole, but yeah, like that line at the end of like I'm not confessing, right? Like I did what I thought was right. So no, I'm not confessing that. And like, I didn't ask for any of this. And I just did the best that I could with what I had. Like, it's so good. I love it. And like we've talked, like I went to 13 years of Catholic school. Like I struggle with this, like what is right and what is wrong. And like, what is moral and immoral. Like, and so like for him to be having all of that, great stuff. Love that. Love Echo. Bummed that he's gone. Hope that he was able to like move on peacefully with the loss of his parents. Least favorite, I'm gonna say John Locke, not just because I don't like him, but because of what I said earlier, where I think the writing on him on this episode is weird to get Nikki and Paulo into the story and to like give them a story. Like I think it's weird. So like I don't like the Paulo like bathroom joke is stupid, but like whatever, kind of forgettable. But like, yeah, like he's like goes out of his way to like announce to everyone that everyone's invited. Like, why? It's weird, and like goes on like seems to like miss an obvious thing. Like he was the one who was like, let's watch these tapes, let's pay attention to everything, and like, and you missed a very basic part of it. So like, but that's done to like give those other two a story. So
I think it's just because John Locke can never win with you, because if John Locke
I don't.
had decided that there were other projects
to disliking John Locke. However, what makes me dislike him more than some of the others in this episode is just that like it's also just a weird episode for him.
Michael, you can't win with this, because if John Locke had been like, he had figured out the monitors and things, he'd be like, of course John Locke figured out the monitors. So you just can't win. You just can't win.
I think this is a pretty like I don't think I'm way off on this. I think he is weirdly in this episode.
I do agree that the writing there is clunky, but I'd say it's more of a Nikki and Paolo issue than a Locke issue. So I'd lump them together, but Nikki, at least, however clunky, does provide some kind of useful information as to and justify her place on the trip, where Paolo, it just nothing character. Why is he there? Go play golf. You don't have to be on my screen. And favorite character, of course, Mr. Echo. I'm gutted that this is the last time I get to talk about Mr. Echo. He's one of my favorite characters, and it sucks that he's gone, because there was so much more to him. I think he was such a deep character with so many layers and flaws and good and bad and everything in between. Amazing performance, amazing character, and it sucks. It really does.
And your least one is Paulo, is that what you said?
Oh yeah.
Woo! My favorite character is, of course, Sawyer. No, just kidding. He's not in the episode. It's a very sad day that he's not in the episode, though. I will do it for all of you, and I do think that Echo was a good character, so I will make Echo my favorite character, just because there's no reason to do that anymore after this, and I'll do it for Radek, because Radek was very upset for Mr. Echo as well. Least favorite character... you know what? I was torn on this one, because like Paulo, like he's just an easy like pick. I am gonna go with Juliet, because in this moment, in this like episode with the video, I was feeling not great about Juliet. I felt like this was like a setup on Jack, and I was already worried because of where they're sitting at in this situation over here with the others, and I was like, I'm not trusting her as much as I was literally an episode ago. So I'm gonna go with Juliet, because when I'm watching this for the first time, I'm like, this is a setup. This is a setup for sure. So that's why I'm going with Juliet.
All right. Episode rankings.
Okay, just because you love her. Get over it.
All right. Michael, you want to hit our top 10 here?
Yeah, so our top 10, we have Exodus, Live Together, Die Alone, Lockdown, Walkabout, Orientation, Man of Science, Man of Faith, Two for the Road, The Long Con, The Pilot, and Do No Harm. And for season 3, so far we have Every Man for Himself, Tale of Two Cities, Glass Ballerina, and Further Instructions, which will remain at the bottom for quite some time, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument there. Looking at this, I do think because the episode was like rushed for Echo's demise, as opposed to like Do No Harm, which it built up to what the story was going to be telling with Boone dying. And so, like, I feel like that's better written. So I would probably have this just outside of the top 10, at least, just because I think every other episode was better written. And then in terms of season 3, I'd probably put this at number 3 above Glass Ballerina and Further Instructions, and below the other two.
Literally everything you just said is what I was going to say. I think.
Mine too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it is rushed. We have some Nikki and Paolo in there, which isn't great. And yeah, I'd say A Tale of Two Cities is stronger. I'm curious. I was just looking. We have 4 season 2 episodes in 4 season 1 episodes in the top 10, 6 season 2 episodes. I'm curious when we're going to get some season 3 in there. I think that top 10 is so stacked. I got a feeling a couple that are going to sneak in, but we'll get there.
We've got plenty more season 3 to go. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that I think that it's not a top 10 overall. I think the top 2 of this season are both really good. I think that the bottom 2 of this season are not as compelling. And I think the good is really good in this episode, but like the clunkiness of it like brings it down. So I think it is the good is really good, so it should be in that top group, but it has issues that the other 2 don't.
Yeah. All right. So
agreeing.
Yeah, that's pretty
never happens.
All right, the cost of living is the new number 3 in season 3. All right. Sweet. So that's 5 episodes of season 3. We must unfortunately move on past the death of a great character, and we'll see what other surprises the rest of season 3 has in store. So like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll let these guys get to the spoiler section for the episode, and we'll see you all next time for more Lost on the Tribe of Nerds.
No.
Don't say my brother's name, John Locke.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another After Jake Tribe of Nerds spoiler section for Lost.
Do we have to even be that quiet? Because he actually got one of the biggest things. Do we even need
let's just stop watching the show, because I'm over this shit right now. I'm so over it.
Like, comment, subscribe. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment, like, spoiler, How annoyed are you with Jake that he got this thing about the smoke monster?
Like, one of the biggest reveals. But also, if you've not seen Lost in its entirety, get out now, because we are about to spoil a bunch of stuff, including what Jake got correct. So do all those things and then leave if you've not watched Lost in its entirety, because you don't want to be here for this. Plenty of time. It's on you now. We are free of it. So, the main thing that Jake ruined, Kevin.
The smoke monster takes the form of the people who have died. Like, yes, all the times that Jack is seeing Christian Shepherd, that's the smoke monster. When Echo is seeing Yemi, that's the smoke monster. When Hurley is seeing Dave, that's the smoke monster.
Yes. Also, I mean, listen, we did bring up that there is a line in here that could lead this to be like thought of, but this is like literally not even what was in my mind when I'm watching this for the first time. So
this is not what I thought, but I did notice, like, oh yeah, like he does, like it does, like, because what he says, like,
he says, you're speaking to me as if I'm your brother.
Yeah, like, you think I'm your brother, and he's not. So like,
but also the way I took that back when I watched this is like, I'm dead. I'm not actually your brother. Like, same. I am a ghost. Same. Like that's how I took it. But no, here's Jake over here. The biggest reveal.
And that soon after that, the smoke monster does appear as the smoke monster. So like, I understand putting it together, but none of us did when we were watching in 2006.
Correct. Also, I am going to point out a big foreshadowing thing that I couldn't wait to talk, and I'm kind of upset that Michael's not here. He also went to bed. Like, what are you doing, Michael? Like, quit leaving us high and dry in these spoiler sections.
Right. Move to Newfoundland so you can like be on a closer time zone.
Right. But there's a major foreshadowing that is going to happen, because as Echo is at the water and the smoke monster appears behind him, and he stands up and looks at the smoke monster, and then the smoke monster disappears, Locke appears. And he does that a couple different times after he has died and come back. Specifically with Ben, he leaves and like smoke monster, and then Locke reappears. So I was like,
foreshadowing to Flock.
To fake Locke, yes. But that was the first time I picked up on it tonight. Not even when I watched it with the kids.
I saw that in this watch through anyway. I saw that.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, even just like when I watched this with the kids a couple months ago, or even a month ago, whatever it was, like I did not put that together, like how the convenience of that. And then
I don't remember 2006, and when I rewatched it like over a year ago at this point, so I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why, because I have watched it so recently and finished it with Radek and Kaysen, that I'm like, Oh, interesting, sir. Sir, what are you doing? Um, but we have a major development in the Juliet and Ben situation. So Juliet propositioned Jack to accidentally end Ben's life,
No one will know.
and she's being truthful.
That's the thing.
Truthful! And then we
Like her sincere plan. She's like, you can do it. I'll help you. You can
I'll
trust me.
protect you. But also, she gets caught very, very quickly because Jack sells her out so quick. He's like, Juliet told me to do it.
This is like classic Survivor, right? Where like you just double cross somebody, like they tried to help you, and you're like, cool. Hey guys, this person tried to rat you out.
Right. Yeah, no, but I mean, also, I mean, this does lead into a very good, like, very decent working relationship because even though, like, if he did this to me, because she also gets branded for all this crap, like, lots of things happened to Juliet. She almost died because of it, and then Jack had to save her because he's the one who caused the issue and to begin with. It's like, this does lead to a working relationship because she still wants to work with them to take down Ben and the other, because she's over it. She's over it and wants to leave. Like, she's done.
Right. Like, we don't know while watching it, right? So, like, we don't know at this point in the timeline if she's just, like, Ben's number one and she's number two and she wants to be number one. What we're going to find out is that she just wants to get off the island and he won't let her off the island.
Yes.
And the most frustrating part, what's the most frustrating part about that, Kristen? What's the most frustrating part? Do you know?
Well, there's lots of frustrating parts. I don't know.
It's that she was going to get off the island, and then who blew up the submarine that she was going to use to get off the island?
Okay. We're not even, no, but like also even before that part, because we find out that Ben, he has confirmed that he is the one with the tumor, and he brings up that the 2 days before this plane crash, that he finds out that he has this tumor, which of course Juliet's the one who ran the scans, and we're gonna get like a flashback and stuff. But that was when he basically, like, we know that 2 days beforehand she comes to him. She is so mad. She tells him he has cancer because he told her way back when, if you stay here and help us with this problem, because she wanted to go home. They told her from the get-go, you only have to stay a couple months. You can go home whenever you want. She wanted to go home. He told her, no, if you stay here, I'll cure your sister's cancer. And then she comes to find out that Ben has cancer, and she calls him out on his bullshit. And then after the plane crashes, so this is where she's already mad. Like, she's already leading up to this. The day the plane crashes, literally right after he sends her boyfriend and Ethan out, because Goodwin and her were together, he takes her to Mikhail is somebody else. Mikhail, the one patch guy, takes her out to meet him, and he dangles her sister in front of her. Like, no wonder she's out to undermine this man.
Right. I mean, she is very right.
Yes.
To be like Jack, you should go along with the plan. You should just take him out.
Right. We would have solved so many problems if Jack would have just freaking
You all would have gotten off the island.
Right. It would have been great.
Life would have been easier.
Right. Because they would have all been mourning Ben, and she could have gotten all of him and his people on the submarine, like all these things. But way to go, Jack. You ruined it because Jack's an idiot. You know who wouldn't ruin that? Sawyer.
Well, Sawyer would never be asked to perform a surgery because that's not.
Anyway.
It's not that he found out he was lacking a con man and then a con man fell from the sky.
I mean, in all fairness, though, you guys were very hateful on my man Sawyer last episode. He had gotten bashed in the face 5 million times. Forgive him for not being able to come up with this, that he was being conned. Like, maybe the concussions are the problem. Like,
I was not hating on him. I was just saying, I said many times that he's very smart. He's very intelligent. Unfortunately, he cannot see the way Ben is, right? Because like a lot of what Ben is doing is much more like requires much more like book smarts that Sawyer doesn't have, that Jack has, which is why they should be best friends forever. Absolutely. That should be the two. Not Jack and Locke. Fuck Locke. Jack and Sawyer should be BFFs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, those are the two main things, obviously, with Juliet and the smoke monster who is the man in black, and all of that, and then John Locke becoming man in black, and all of those types of things. But those were the main ones for this one. Other than, I have to bring up because we love to make fun of them. Nikki and Paulo, they had a role, surprising.
Nikki and Paulo aren't going to get a whole lot to do because they're only in it for another half a season.
Yes, that is very correct that they are not in it for very long. But the one thing that we were all making fun of so much was Paulo using the bathroom, and he went in there for a very specific person, which we will find out in expose. He had hid some diamonds in there when he had accidentally found this before Boone dropped the plane on this thing. He had come across this. Excuse me, ma'am. And he had found this place. He went down there to hide these diamonds that him and Nikki have been fighting over, and all these things. And this is where we get the first look of where he saw the first look of Ben and Juliet because they were spying on Jack through those little monitors there. But he hid the diamonds in the toilet, so then he realized they were all going down there. What if they had to use the toilet, and then the toilet wouldn't flush, and then they went and looked, and there were the diamonds, so he had to go in there first. So that's the main reason why Paulo was using the bathroom.
Right. Also, spoiler alert, I've always liked Nikki a little bit more than Paulo. Paulo?
100%. She actually served a purpose.
Right. And
the whole reason behind expose is that Paulo is the new Shannon. He's completely useless. And Nikki's like the new Boone, where he somewhat useful, but still kind of not.
Imagine.
Tell me they are not basically replaced.
Imagine, Kristen, it is 2005. You get signed. You're going to get to be a new character on the hottest show on TV, the highest rated show. And then your character is Paulo.
Right? I can't imagine. But also, I mean, here's the thing too about this though, is that like expose, a lot of people hate, like there are two episodes that people hate. Expose is one of them. I don't necessarily hate that one.
I don't hate expose.
I do hate the other one. But in expose, we find out that literally all of this is because Paulo has a problem. He gets jealous very easily for stupid reasons. Literally, she was trying to hang out with Arts and like look at his stupid bugs, and then she found out he was lying, and so she attempted to end his life, and then it didn't work out in her favor. And yeah, we have a burying alive situation.
Ugh. I feel like they could have saved Nikki. Paulo had to go.
The thing about that though is like it always bothered me as they're like, because her eyes open, like you are shoveling, like you are picking up sand and you are shoveling it. Like
that's for us. That's for us.
I know, but like, do you not see her eyes open? Stupid.
No, they didn't, because they were throwing.
Anyway,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
They could have saved Nikki.
It's fine. I was fine without her too.
As a character, she could have been redeemed. I don't think Paulo could ever be redeemed.
No, definitely not. So, I mean, razzle dazzle. I just wanted to say it.
Razzle dazzle.
I wanted to say it the entire time through this episode. I could not. So, this is my moment to say razzle dazzle. So, with that is all I have. Do you have anything else you want to spoil? Obviously, somebody's craving attention for me.
Right. No, I would just like to spoil that your cat is very needy.
She is extremely needy, and apparently she wants to tell everyone how needy she is. All right. There. You've gotten your screen time. See you later. I will play with you in a little bit. But yes, with that, like, comment, subscribe, all the things, but do not spoil because Jake will read them.
Spoiler. ...
100%. Yes, because Jake, he can't help himself.
He will read it.
He will read it. And
he won't read if he has to click see more. But if
that's correct. That is correct.
If it's ... he won't click see more. So that's the key.
Yes. So like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about, and we'll see you for the next episode of Lost. Bye.
Bye.